Right now, in this exact moment, you're losing something. Not slowly, not someday now. There's a version of you that exists only in shadow, powerful, dangerous, real, and you've spent your entire life running from it. Every time you rejected it, apologized for it, buried it deeper, you lost a piece of your power. You don't feel powerful because you've systematically dismantled yourself. And the people around you? They're not upset because you're too much. They're upset because you're not enough. Not compliant enough, not small enough, not broken enough to control. You've been told your whole life that rejection is weakness, that anger is dangerous, that power is arrogance, that to be loved you must be digestible, palatable, broken down into pieces small enough that other people can swallow you whole. And you believed it. You've been so busy managing everyone else's comfort that you forgot you're allowed to have a spine. You're allowed to have hunger. You're allowed to have wants that don't revolve around making others feel safe. Listen, the thing you're most ashamed of about yourself. That's not your weakness. That's your power in chains. The part of you that scares people, that's the part that's dangerous to anyone who wants to keep you small. They don't reject your shadow because it's bad. They reject it because it's free. And freedom is the one thing they cannot allow. Most people will spend their entire lives as shadows of shadows. They'll apologize for existing. They'll soften their voice so others can sleep. They'll dim their light so it doesn't cast anyone else in darkness. They'll die, wondering what they could have done if they'd simply allowed themselves to be fully, unapologetically alive. You're not most people, but you're letting them make you into one. That discomfort you feel right now, that resistance, that's not because I'm wrong. That's because some part of you knows exactly what I'm talking about. You've felt it, the real you, the one that doesn't ask permission, the one that knows what it wants and takes it, the one that frightens the people who need you to be safe and predictable. They've convinced you that thing is a monster. But what if it's not a monster? What if it's simply a lion locked in a cage, finally hearing someone acknowledge it's alive? The video you're watching right now is not for your comfort. This isn't therapy dressed up in motivational language. This isn't a permission slip from someone who's going to make it okay for you to be yourself. Because no one can, no one needs to. The only permission you need was written into your nervous system the moment you were born. You have the right to exist fully, not partially. Not when it's convenient for others. Fully. Before we go deeper, I need you to understand something. You're not broken because of your shadow. You're broken because you're at war with yourself. Every ounce of energy spent rejecting, hiding, and apologizing for who you are is energy that could be building something real. Your shadow isn't the problem. Your alliance with the people who want you to remain in shadow is the problem. And that's about to change. Here's what rejection does. It fractures you. It creates a person you show the world and a person you hide from everyone. Neither is fully alive. The public you is a puppet. The private you is a ghost. Both are suffering. Both are incomplete. And that incompleteness is what people exploit. They keep one part of you satisfied just enough that you never consolidate your power. This is how control works. The thing about your shadow is this. It doesn't care if you're comfortable. It doesn't care if you're popular. It doesn't care if your parents approve, or if your job is secure, or if your friends think you're a good person. Your shadow cares about one thing, that you survive, that you live, that you actually become someone instead of waiting to become someone. It wants you to be dangerous. It wants you to be powerful. It wants you to stop being a draft of a human and become the final book. So this is the question you need to answer before we go deeper. Are you ready to stop running? Are you ready to stop apologizing for being alive? Are you ready to integrate the part of you that you've been trained to hate? Or are you going to keep living this half-life, complaining about what you don't have while actively rejecting what you already are? This video, these ideas, this whole framework is dangerous. Dangerous to anyone who profits from your compliance. dangerous to anyone who needs you small, dangerous to anyone who's built their identity around managing you. If that describes people close to you, family, friends, partners, this is going to hurt them, and that might be the cost of becoming real. You have to decide if their comfort is worth your life. I'm not here to give you permission to be destructive. I'm not saying reject everyone and everything. I'm not saying your shadow should have total control. What I'm saying is this: you cannot build anything real on the foundation of self-rejection. You cannot create authentic power from a fractured self. You cannot become who you're meant to be while actively fighting against who you actually are. Your power is not built by rejecting who you are. It's built by consolidating who you are, by integrating every part of yourself, the socially acceptable and the socially forbidden, the nice and the dangerous, the humble and the ambitious, the broken and the unbreakable. When these parts fight each other, you're fighting your own war. When they align, that's when you become unstoppable. The hook is not, everything is your fault. The hook is not, you just need to think differently. The hook is this: there is a version of you that was trained out of existence, and she's still alive. There is a version of you that was told to be quiet, and he's still screaming. That version doesn't need healing. That version needs acknowledgement. That version needs to be let out. Rejection is a learned behavior. You weren't born hating yourself. You weren't born apologizing for existence. You were taught that systematically, consistently, and by people you trusted. They didn't do it because you're actually bad. They did it because a smaller version of you is easier to control. A grateful version of you is easier to exploit. A version of you that doubts herself is easier to keep dependent. This is not about your psychology. This is about power. So here's what's about to happen. I'm going to show you that this is not unique to you, this rejection cycle, this self-fracturing, this alliance with your own oppression. It's systematic, it's widespread, it's deliberate, and understanding the system is the first step to dismantling it. Because you can't fight an enemy you don't see. You can't escape a cage you don't realize you're in. The knowledge that's coming, it's the lockpick. This is not self-help, this is not motivational speaking, this is structural analysis. This is the dismantling of the systems that have taught you to be at war with yourself. And yes, dismantling is violent. Yes, it will cause disruption. Yes, people who benefit from your compliance will resist. But here's what I know. You are already suffering. You're already paying the price. At least this way, you're suffering toward liberation instead of suffering toward nothing. The rest of this video is going to hurt. Not because I'm going to say anything cruel. It's going to hurt because you already know it's true. You already know that the version of yourself you've been presenting to the world is a negotiated settlement with people who don't have your best interests. You already know that beneath that settlement, there's something rawer, realer, and infinitely more powerful. This video is just giving you permission to acknowledge what you've already felt. Your shadow is not an enemy. It's an exile. It's a part of you that was sent away because the world couldn't contain it. It's been living in the dark, getting stronger, getting angrier, waiting for you to remember that it's actually you. This video is that remembrance. This is the beginning of the end of the war inside your own body. If you're still here, you're ready. Maybe not consciously, maybe not comfortably. But somewhere in your nervous system, you know that what you've been doing isn't working. You know that being good and compliant and acceptable hasn't made you happy. It's made you hollow. It's made you functional, but not alive. This video is the antidote to that hollowness, and there's no going back after you take it. So the question isn't whether you're ready. The question is whether you want to be. Let's be clear about what rejection of your shadow actually costs. It costs you authority. It costs you the ability to say no without justifying it. It costs you the capacity to take up space without apologizing. It costs you the power to name what you want without someone else's comfort overriding your need. When you reject your shadow, you reject the part of you that knows how to fight. You reject the part that knows how to win. The people who raised you, the systems that educated you, the culture that surrounded you, they all benefit from your self-rejection. A person at war with themselves is profitable. They consume, they comply, they stay small. They need external validation because they've learned not to trust internal guidance. This is not accident. This is design. And you're starting to see the design now, aren't you? So when this video tells you to stop rejecting your shadow, it's not telling you to burn it all down. Though some things might burn. It's telling you to stop being an accomplice to your own diminishment. It's telling you to stop collaborating with the people and systems that want you small. It's telling you to consolidate your power before someone else's need for control costs you your entire life. This is the part where you feel the resistance. This is the part where you want to close the video. This is the part where you want to argue that it's not that dark, that people aren't that calculated, that the world is mostly good. And maybe for some people that's true. But you're watching this video. You're watching this video because that argument stopped working for you. Something inside you is calling bullshit on the comfortable lies. Trust that something. It's your shadow, and it's trying to save you. Okay, you're still here. That means you're ready to actually look at yourself. Not the edited version. Not the version that makes sense to other people. The real version. The raw version. The one that scares you sometimes. This is where we stop apologizing and start understanding. This is where the transformation begins. Here's the first worldview that needs to break. You are not broken because you're too much. You're not the problem. The problem is that you were never supposed to be fully alive, fully expressed, fully yourself. The culture, the family, the systems around you, they were designed to domesticate you. And domestication requires self-rejection. It requires you to amputate parts of yourself to fit into the space assigned to you. Domestication is not love. Domestication is not care. Domestication is resource extraction. When your family teaches you to be small, they're not protecting you. They're protecting themselves. From the intensity of raising a fully alive child, from the challenge of containing that energy, from the threat that are powerful you might outgrow them. So they trade you the lie of safety in exchange for your power, and you, being a child with no power to resist, take that trade. You learned early that your power was threatening. Maybe your father couldn't handle a daughter who challenged him. Maybe your mother needed you to be the calm one so she could panic. Maybe your siblings needed you to be the responsible one so they could fail. Maybe your teachers needed you to be compliant so they could manage the class. Whatever the specific scenario, you got the same message. Your full expression is a problem. Your needs are a burden. Your boundaries are a betrayal. So you learned to reject yourself before anyone else could. You learned that if you rejected your own power, your own needs, your own expression, then you were in control of the rejection. You were proving to everyone that you understood the assignment. You were demonstrating compliance before they even demanded it. This felt like agency. It wasn't. It was advanced Stockholm syndrome. Here's what no one tells you. The people who feel threatened by your full self-expression are also trapped. Your father who couldn't handle your intensity, he's trapped in his own domestication, his own fear, his own fragmented self. Your mother who needed you to absorb her chaos, she's drowning in a life where she never learned to own her own power. They are not your enemy. They are not even conscious actors in this dynamic. They are victims of the same system, now operating as the system's agents. This is how oppression perpetuates itself, through people who are themselves oppressed, passing it down like a family curse. But here's where the story changes. Understanding that they're trapped doesn't mean you have to stay trapped. Understanding that they were victims doesn't mean you have to accept victimization. The chain can be broken, not because you forgive them, not because you heal your relationship with them, but because you make a different choice about yourself. You stop collaborating with your own domestication, and that breaks the chain. Your transformation becomes their mirror, the system that taught you self-rejection. It's not unique to your family. It's not unique to your culture, though culture modulates it. It's a system that benefits from your fragmentation. It's profitable when you're broken. It's profitable when you reject yourself. It's profitable when you're at war with yourself. Your therapist makes money from your trauma. Your economy makes money from your insecurity. Your media makes money from your self-doubt. Self-rejection is not a personal failure. It's a structural requirement. This is not pessimism. This is not cynicism. This is pattern recognition. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Every pharmaceutical ad that makes you feel like your baseline self is broken. Every social media algorithm that shows you what you're not. Every job that requires you to minimize yourself. Every relationship dynamic that asks you to be smaller so someone else can feel bigger. It's all part of the same machine. It's all designed to keep you fragmented and buying solutions to the fragmentation. So your rejection of your shadow is not personal pathology, it's structural compliance. It's the system's fingerprint on your self-image. And the moment you stop rejecting your shadow, you stop being compliant, you stop being predictable, you stop being profitable in the same way. This is why they will fight to keep you fractured. This is why acceptance of your shadow will feel dangerous and wrong. Because it is dangerous to them, not to you. Here's what they don't want you to know. Your shadow is where your actual power lives, not your potential power, not your future power, your actual, embodied, available right now power. It's in the anger you're not allowed to feel. It's in the ambition you're not allowed to name. It's in the desire you're not allowed to claim. It's in the truth you're not allowed to speak. It's in every part of yourself that was deemed unacceptable by people who were themselves fragmented. The worldview that's destroying you is this, that your acceptability is your value, that your usefulness is your worth, that your compliance is your love, that your ability to not take up space is a virtue, that your self-rejection is maturity, that your fragmentation is normalcy, that everyone is living this way, and it's fine, and you should just accept it. None of that is true. None of that has ever been true. You've simply been surrounded by people who also believed the lie, and their belief made the lie feel like reality. The second worldview that needs to die is this, that you owe anyone your complicity. You don't. You don't owe your family your conformity. You don't owe your culture your sacrifice. You don't owe your boss your wholesome persona. You don't owe society your fragmentation. You were never asked if you wanted these debts. You were simply told they existed, and that paying them was the price of acceptance. But acceptance built on self-rejection is not acceptance. It's conditional imprisonment. The third worldview that has to go is this, that being loved requires being less, that relationships require you to be more palatable than you actually are. That connection requires you to edit yourself, that intimacy requires you to hide. Real love, actual, authentic connection, only happens between people who are showing up as themselves. Everything else is transaction disguised as relationship. And you've probably never experienced real connection because you've never allowed yourself to be fully seen. So here's the truth about the system that's destroying you. It works because it's been internalized. The oppressor is no longer external. The oppressor is you. You are the one rejecting your shadow. You are the one enforcing the rules. You are the one punishing yourself for not being acceptable enough. You became the system's agent, and now it barely needs to do anything. You're doing the work for them. This is the deepest level of control, getting the prisoner to guard their own cage. And this is where validation comes in from the system, because the system knows that if it can get you to feel a little safer, a little more accepted for your compliance, you'll keep complying. So it offers you tiny hits of validation. Your boss says you're doing great work. Your family says you're the responsible one. Your friends say you're such a good listener. These things feel like love. They feel like evidence that your self-rejection is correct. They feel like proof that being small is actually a strength, but they're just the system rewarding you for your own diminishment. But here's the thing. That validation was never the real goal. The real goal is compliance. The real goal is keeping you predictable. The real goal is preventing you from becoming someone so powerful and integrated that you can't be controlled. The system doesn't actually want you to feel good. The system wants you to feel good enough to keep working, just functional enough to be productive, just broken enough to be manageable. This knowledge is for protection, not destruction. I'm telling you this so you can see the system for what it is, not so you can burn it all down in a blaze of self-righteous fury. Seeing the system is the first step, and the moment you see it, you can't unsee it. You can't go back to comfortable lies. You can only move forward into conscious choice. There is one person in the history of Western thought who understood this dynamic better than almost anyone else. His name was Carl Jung, and he spent his entire career studying the exact thing we're talking about: the shadow, the rejected self, the parts of our psyche that we exile. Jung was a Swiss psychoanalyst working in the early 20th century, and he developed ideas that were so dangerous to the social order that they were suppressed, marginalized, and often deliberately misunderstood by the academic establishment. He understood something fundamental about human nature that the system needed to keep hidden, that we are not fragmented by accident. We are fragmented by design. Jung believed that the psyche isn't simply divided between conscious and unconscious. It's divided between the acceptable and the unacceptable, between what we're allowed to show and what we're forced to hide, between the persona, the mask we wear to society, and the shadow, everything we've rejected about ourselves. The tragedy is that the shadow doesn't disappear when we reject it. It lives, it grows, it gets stronger, angrier, more desperate for acknowledgement, and the more we reject it, the more powerful and autonomous it becomes. Jung said something that has haunted Western thought ever since. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. This is the sentence that breaks everything open, because it means that every self-defeating pattern you're trapped in, every relationship that repeats the same dysfunction, every choice that takes you away from what you actually want, all of it is the shadow speaking. All of it is the rejected part of you trying to get your attention the only way it knows how, by sabotaging the life of the person who abandoned it. The revolutionary thing about Jung is that he didn't recommend getting rid of the shadow. He didn't say the solution is to kill the unacceptable parts of yourself. He said, the solution is integration, he said. You have to know your shadow. You have to dialogue with it. You have to acknowledge it as part of yourself instead of a foreign invader. You have to own the parts you rejected and understand why they were rejected. This is the work that actual transformation requires. Not erasure, but integration. Now, I need to be absolutely clear about what Jung means here. He's not saying embrace your shadow to hurt people. He's not saying stop having any boundaries or ethics. He's saying that the energy locked in your shadow, the passion, the drive, the intensity, the refusal to accept diminishment, that energy is real and powerful, and it's yours. It belongs to you, and the moment you integrate it instead of rejecting it, you have access to power that most people will never possess. You become someone who can't be manipulated because you're not running from yourself anymore. Jung understood something else that's crucial. The more you reject your shadow, the more you project it onto others. You'll see in other people the qualities you're not allowed to have. You'll be attracted to people who express what you're not allowing yourself to express. You'll be repulsed by people who remind you of the parts you've rejected. You'll create relationships where someone else is living the life you're not allowed to live, and you'll call it love. But it's not love, it's unconscious strategy. It's your shadow trying to achieve expression through someone else. This is why your relationships keep repeating the same pattern. This is why you keep attracting the same type of person. This is why you keep playing out the same dynamic. It's not luck, it's your shadow running the show. It's the rejected parts of you staging a coup, using relationships as the battleground. You're not choosing these people, consciously your shadow is selecting them, because they carry the energy. Your conscious self is terrified of owning. Jung also understood why this knowledge is so dangerous to the social order. Because if everyone understood their shadow, if everyone integrated their rejected self, if everyone stopped running from themselves and owned their whole nature, they would stop being controllable. They would stop being exploitable. They would stop being profitable. A person at war with themselves is compliant. A person who has integrated their shadow is free. And freedom is the thing that every system of control is most afraid of. So Jung was suppressed. His ideas were taken, simplified, turned into therapy jargon, and robbed of their revolutionary power. They took his radical concept about the necessity of integrating the rejected self and turned it into something comfortable and manageable. They took the revolutionary idea that you are fragmented by design and turned it into a personal growth industry that still profits from your fragmentation. This is how revolutions are contained, by taking their truth and turning it into something that sounds true but remains safe. But the original insight remains unchanged. You are fragmented. The parts of yourself you reject don't disappear. They compound, they strengthen, they work against you from the darkness. The only way to wholeness is integration. The only way to real power is accepting every part of yourself. The ambitious and the humble, the angry and the kind, the selfish and the generous, the destructive and the creative. All of it is you. And when you own all of it, when you integrate all of it, you become someone formidable. Jung had another concept that's crucial to this. He called it the individuation process. It's the process of becoming who you actually are, instead of who you're supposed to be. And he said it was the only thing worth doing in a human life. Not success, not accomplishment, not accumulation. The only thing worth doing is the process of becoming yourself. Everything else is distraction from that fundamental task. Individuation isn't selfish, it's the opposite. A person who has done the work of individuation, who has integrated their shadow, who has accepted their entire nature, that person is finally capable of real relationship, real community, real contribution. Because they're not looking for someone else to live their unlived life. They're not needing external validation to prove they exist. They're not running from themselves and calling it involvement. They're actually present. And that presence is magnetic. That's the person people actually want to follow. Jung lived through 2 world wars. He watched as the rejected, the pushed down, the suppressed parts of entire cultures erupted in violence and destruction. He understood that the shadow doesn't go away quietly. It builds pressure. It gathers force. And if it's never given conscious expression, it will express itself unconsciously, through addiction, through violence, through projection, through depression, through the systematic destruction of everything you're supposed to care about. The only way to prevent this explosion is to create space for conscious expression of the shadow, before the pressure becomes unbearable. So here's what Jung is telling you. Your shadow isn't the problem. Rejecting it is the problem. Your power isn't in becoming more acceptable. Your power is in becoming more yourself. And that process, that terrifying, necessary, beautiful process of becoming yourself, that's the entire meaning of a human life. And that's the forbidden wisdom they don't want you to have. That's the truth that threatens the entire structure of compliance. That's why Jung is still suppressed, still simplified, still marginalized. Because if you understood what he understood, if you actually committed to integrating your shadow instead of rejecting it, you would be unstoppable. You would be someone who couldn't be managed through shame or guilt. You would be someone who couldn't be controlled through fear of judgment. You would be, in the truest sense, free. The first thing you need to understand about your shadow, your anger is not a character flaw. Your Anger is information. Your anger is your system telling you that something is wrong, that a boundary has been crossed, that you're being disrespected, that your needs matter and they're not being honored. Every time you've been told that your anger is inappropriate, you've been taught to reject that information. You've been taught to dismiss your own communication system. Think about the last time you felt genuinely angry, not irritated, not frustrated, actually deeply angry. What happened? My guess is you didn't express it. You swallowed it, you rationalized it away. You found a way to blame yourself for the situation that angered you, so you didn't have to direct your anger outward at the person who caused it. You internalized it and called yourself mature. But that anger didn't disappear. It went inside, and now it's a chronic low-level rage that you're carrying around in your nervous system, manifesting as anxiety, as depression, as self-sabotage. Here's the psychology. Anger is your boundary-setting mechanism. When someone disrespects you, your system generates anger. That anger mobilizes energy to push back, to create distance, to protect yourself. This is healthy, this is necessary. But you've been taught that this response is selfish or aggressive or unattractive. So you override your system's wisdom. You smile when you want to scream. You comply when you should refuse. And your anger, denied outward expression, turns inward. It becomes self-hatred. It becomes depression. It becomes the systematic sabotage of your own life. The practical thing you can do starting today: feel your anger. Don't express it yet. Don't act on it yet. Just feel it. Notice where it lives in your body. Notice what wants to move. Notice what the anger is trying to tell you. Anger is information. It's saying this is not okay with me, or this person crossed a line, or I matter, and I'm not being respected as if I do. That's not poison. That's wisdom. Start listening to it instead of canceling it. Drop this in the comments. My anger is my information, not my enemy. Your anger has been medicinal your entire life. It's shown up as the thing that made you leave a bad relationship. It's the thing that made you finally stand up to someone who was using you. It's the thing that told you, no, this job is disrespecting me, or this friendship is one-sided. Every good decision you've ever made that created distance from something harmful, that was your anger working. But you've been taught to feel ashamed of it. You've been trained to apologize for it. And in doing so, you've been cutting yourself off from one of your most important survival systems. The problem is not that you have anger. The problem is that you've been taught to feel guilty for having anger. So you're split. Your system is telling you, no, this is not okay, but your consciousness is telling you, you shouldn't feel that way. This internal conflict is exhausting. It's making you sick. It's turning your life into a performance where you're constantly working to hide the truth of what you're actually experiencing. And the energy cost of that performance is destroying you. Now, here's the important part. Understanding that your anger is information doesn't mean you become a person who explodes at minor inconveniences. It means you differentiate between activated anger, which is information about a real boundary violation, and reactive anger, which is your nervous system's confused response to something that isn't actually about you. But the first step is to stop hating your own emotional capacity. The first step is to stop treating your anger as the enemy. Because the moment you stop fighting your anger, you can actually listen to it and learn what it's trying to tell you. The second part of your shadow that's been weaponized against you is your ambition. Your desire to matter, your drive to become significant, your hunger to build, to create, to leave a mark. This has been rebranded as narcissism in our culture. You've been taught that wanting things is selfish, that wanting to be recognized is vain, that wanting power is evil. And so you've buried your ambition. You've learned to apologize for having drive. And now you're watching people who didn't bury it, people who claimed their ambition, get to do the things you actually wanted to do. Narcissism is a personality disorder characterized by lack of empathy and need for control. Ambition is a fundamental human drive to become more, to achieve more, to matter more. These are not the same thing. You can be ambitious and empathetic. You can want to build an empire and still care about people. You can want to be recognized and still be humble about what you don't know. But the culture needs you to believe these things are incompatible. Because if you believed in your ambition, if you owned your drive, if you allowed yourself to want power, you wouldn't accept the position you've been assigned. Think about a time when you wanted something, really wanted it. Maybe it was a job, maybe it was recognition for your work. Maybe it was a speaking platform or a business or just to be heard. What happened? Chances are, as soon as you acknowledged the wanting, a voice came up saying, "Don't get too big for your britches," or "You don't deserve that," or "It's selfish to want that much." That voice is not your conscience. That's cultural conditioning. That's the system's voice in your head, preventing you from accessing your own power. Here's the psychology. Ambition is actually a healthy drive. It's what makes you get better at things. It's what makes you push yourself. It's what makes you create. But you've learned that expressing ambition is dangerous. It makes people uncomfortable. It makes people feel like you're showing them up. It creates envy. So you learned to hide it. You learned to downplay it. You learned to apologize for your competence. And now you're stuck in positions below your actual capability, watching less capable but more shameless people advance past you. The practical thing to do starting today: name what you actually want, not what you think you should want, not what would be acceptable to want, what you actually genuinely want for your career, for your life, for your impact. Write it down, speak it aloud. Let yourself know that you're allowed to want it. This is the first step, acknowledging the ambition rather than denying it. You don't have to act on it yet. You don't have to tell anyone, but you have to stop lying to yourself about what you want. Drop this in the comments. I am allowed to want what I want. Your ambition is not evil. It's human. And it's specifically human. The drive to grow, to improve, to build something that will outlast us. This is not narcissism. This is meaningfulness. The lie is that you're supposed to want nothing for yourself. The lie is that desiring recognition is vanity. The lie is that building something significant is selfish. But you know better now. You know that the people who successfully built things, who changed things, who mattered, they did so because they were willing to acknowledge their ambition and act on it. They were willing to say, "I want this," and then do the work to get it. The problem is not your ambition. The problem is that you've been trained to feel guilty about it, so you've split yourself. Part of you wants to matter, wants to achieve, wants to be powerful, and part of you thinks that's wrong. Part of you sabotages yourself. Part of you creates obstacles. Part of you validates other people's success while diminishing your own. This internal conflict is keeping you small, and small is exactly where the system wants you. Integration here means allowing yourself to be ambitious without apology. It means understanding that wanting power is not evil. It means recognizing that your drive to matter is legitimate, and then channeling it into creation instead of sabotage. It means looking at the people who intimidate you, the successful ones, the recognized ones, the people who clearly own their ambition, and recognizing that they're not better people than you. They just decided they were allowed to want what they wanted, and then they went after it. The third part of yourself that's been rejected, your desire, your sexuality, your want, your hunger, physical, emotional, spiritual hunger. You've been taught that desire is dangerous, that wanting things makes you vulnerable, that showing desire makes you weak, and so you've learned to minimize it, to apologize for it, to present yourself as someone who wants nothing, needs nothing, can be satisfied with scraps. And this has made you a target for people who want partners, lovers, friends, people they can take from without reciprocal giving, especially if you're a woman or assigned female. You've received specific messaging about desire, that being desired is the goal, but desiring is wrong, that you should be objects of desire, not subjects of desire, that wanting sex is unladylike, that wanting to be pursued is what you should want, but wanting to do the pursuing is aggressive. That hunger for anything, food, sex, attention, success, makes you unfeminine. So you've learned to kill your desire. You've learned to present as someone above need. And people have used this learned immunity to need to extract everything from you without ever having to give anything back. Here's the psychology. Desire is not separate from being alive. Desire is the fundamental aliveness in your system. When you kill your desire, you kill your life force. You become a person who goes through motions but doesn't actually want anything, doesn't actually choose anything, doesn't actually create anything. You become a placeholder. You become a resource. And resource status makes you exploitable. Think about what happens in your body when you want something. There's activation, there's energy mobilization, there's focus, there's intensity. This is not pathology. This is your system doing what it's designed to do. But you've learned to suppress this activation. You've learned to say, oh, I don't really care that much, or it's fine either way, or I can go without. You're constantly diminishing your own desire, and in doing so, you're diminishing your own life. The practical thing to do starting today: notice what you actually want, not what's acceptable to want, not what's modest to want. What do you actually want? What are you denying yourself right now? What do you want to experience, to feel, to have, to be? Start here with awareness. You're not going to act recklessly on every desire. That's not the goal. The goal is to stop denying what you're actually experiencing. Drop this in the comments. I lack myself to feel my desire. Your desire is not a liability. Your hunger is not a weakness. The fact that you want things, that you're driven to experience, to create, to connect, to achieve is what makes you alive. And being alive is the only thing worth being. Dead people don't want anything. Compliant people don't want anything. Only people who are still fighting, still reaching, still hungry. Only those people are actually alive. And that aliveness is a threat to anyone who wants to keep you controlled. Now I need to be clear about something. Owning your desire does not mean you become a person who disregards other people. It doesn't mean you take what's not yours. It doesn't mean you manipulate or coerce. It means you stop pretending you don't have wants. It means you ask for what you actually want. It means you allow yourself to pursue what genuinely calls to you. And it means you accept when people say no, and you move on without resentment. But the baseline is that you're allowed to want things. The integration of your desire means allowing yourself to want without apology, pursuing without shame, and accepting no without resentment. It means understanding that not everyone will want what you're offering, and that's okay. That doesn't make your desire wrong. That makes them incompatible. And there are people out there who actually want what you have to offer, who want your passion, your sexuality, your hunger, your intensity. You're just hiding these things, so those people can't find you. The fourth piece of your shadow, your refusal, your ability to say no, your capacity to create boundaries. You've been taught that saying no is selfish, that having boundaries is rigid, that refusing to accommodate is unkind. So you've learned to say yes to everything, yes to requests that don't serve you, yes to relationships that harm you, yes to opportunities that derail you. You've become a person who is available to everyone for everything, and in doing so, you've become unavailable to yourself. Here's what's actually happening. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you're training people that you're exploitable. You're telling them that their comfort matters more than your well-being. You're showing them that they can make unlimited requests, and you'll accommodate them. And so they do, and so they will continue to, forever, unless you change this pattern. People respect boundaries. People will respect your no if you actually give it to them. But you've never given them that option. You've just been a perpetual yes. The psychology here is clear. Boundaries are not walls. Boundaries are bridges. A boundary says, here is where I end and where you begin. Here is how I need to be treated. Here is what I can accommodate and what I can't. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. This is the only foundation upon which real healthy relationship can be built. Because without clear boundaries, you're not in relationship. You're in transaction. You're trading your peace for someone else's approval. Think about the last time someone asked you for something you didn't want to give. A friend asked you to commit time to them. A family member asked you to participate in something you didn't want to do. A colleague asked you to take on extra work. What did you do? My guess is you said yes, maybe with a long explanation about why you had to. You created a narrative of obligation or necessity, so you didn't have to actually exercise your agency. You didn't just refuse. You over-explained, over-justified, trying to make your no seem reasonable to them. But your no doesn't need to be reasonable to them. It just needs to be real to you. The practical thing to do starting today: say no to one thing. Just one small thing. Something that someone has been asking of you or will ask of you. Something that doesn't serve you. Something that requires you to abandon yourself. And instead of yes, say no. Not maybe later. Not I'm so sorry, but just no. Notice what happens. Notice the discomfort. That discomfort is your training being activated. That discomfort is the system telling you that you've violated protocol. That's okay. Let the discomfort exist. And say no anyway. Drop this in the comments. No is a complete sentence. Your refusal is your power. It's the thing that stops you from being exploited. It's the thing that creates the space for authentic relationship. It's the thing that teaches people how to treat you. Because if you never say no, people assume they can ask for anything. If you never refuse, people assume you're available for anything. Your no is not unkind. Your no is not selfish. Your no is the foundation of all integrity. Now, I want to be clear. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you stop being kind. It doesn't mean you stop helping. It means you help from a place of choice rather than obligation. It means you give because you want to give, not because you've been trained to say yes. And here's the thing. When you operate from choice, your help actually matters. When you operate from obligation, you're just resenting people while pretending to serve them. Real generosity requires real boundaries. The integration of your refusal means allowing yourself to say no, without explanation, without guilt, without apology. It means understanding that disappointing people is not the same as betraying them. It means recognizing that people who love you will respect your boundaries. And people who don't respect your boundaries don't actually love you. They love having access to you. That's different, and it's not worth the price of your own integrity. The fifth part of your shadow we need to integrate: your self-doubt. Your voice of uncertainty, your internal critic. You've been taught that self-doubt means you're not ready, that it means you're not capable, that it means you should wait, prepare more, get more credentials, become more before you try. And so you've become a person who is perfectly prepared but never actually begins. You're waiting for certainty that will never come. And while you're waiting, people less capable than you are already building what they want. Here's what you need to understand about self-doubt. It's not a signal that you're incapable. It's a signal that you're growing. When you're doing something you've done 1,000 times before, there's no doubt. You know exactly what to do. You're comfortable. There's no doubt because there's no risk. The moment you try something new, the moment you step into unfamiliar territory, doubt shows up. That's not a sign to turn back. That's a sign that you're at the edge of your competence. That's exactly where growth happens. The psychology here. Self-doubt becomes pathological when you let it direct your decisions. It becomes useful when you let it inform your preparation. This is the distinction. Doubt says, what if I fail? That's information. That's telling you to prepare, to practice, to get feedback, to improve. But doubt doesn't say, therefore you must never try. Doubt is just data about your current state of readiness. It's not a vote against your future capability. Think about something you're doubting yourself about right now. Something you want to do, but the doubt is keeping you paralyzed. The doubt is probably saying something like, what if people don't like it? Or what if you're not good enough? Or what if this fails? And those are real possibilities. Failure is possible. Rejection is possible. But you know what else is possible? Success, growth, recognition, connection, all of those are equally possible. But you're treating doubt like it's prophecy, like it's predicting the future, like it's saying, this will definitely fail. That's not what doubt is doing. Doubt is showing you the risks. It's not showing you the destiny. The practical thing to do starting today, notice your doubt without arguing with it. Don't try to convince yourself that the doubt is wrong. Don't try to think positive thoughts to combat it. Just notice it. Say, oh, here's doubt showing up. Interesting. It's telling me that I'm doing something new. And then do the thing anyway. Let the doubt come with you. You don't need certainty to move. You just need willingness. Drop this in the comments. I move toward my vision despite my doubt. Your doubt is not your enemy. Your doubt is actually protecting you in some way. It's keeping you safe from risk. It's keeping you from failing. It's keeping you from being vulnerable. It's doing its job, which is risk mitigation. But you're not a baby who needs total protection anymore. You're someone who's ready to take calculated risks. So you can thank your doubt for trying to help, and you can overrule it anyway. The integration of your doubt means understanding that doubt is not a character flaw or a prediction of the future. It's just information about your current state of readiness. You can be ready enough to move even when you're not certain. You can be uncertain and courageous simultaneously. In fact, that's what courage actually is. Moving towards something significant, even though you're not 100% sure you'll succeed. Certainty is for people doing things they've already done 1,000 times. Doubt is the companion of growth, the sixth part of your shadow, your grief, your capacity to feel loss, your ability to be affected by things. You've been taught that grief is weakness, that emotional depth is indulgence, that if you're really strong, you wouldn't feel things so intensely. So you've learned to minimize your grief. You've learned to move on quickly. You've learned to say it is what it is and suppress the actual sadness. And in doing so, you've been suppressing one of the most important capacities in your psyche, the capacity to truly value what matters to you. Here's what grief actually is. Grief is evidence that something mattered to you. You don't grieve things that meant nothing. You grieve people, opportunities, versions of yourself, times in your life that held significance. And the deeper your grief, the deeper your capacity for attachment and meaning. The person who can't grieve is not stronger than the person who can. The person who can't grieve is deadened. They're someone whose losses haven't touched them because they're not alive enough to be touched. The psychology: when you suppress grief, you suppress all capacity for feeling. You can't turn off sadness while leaving joy. You can't numb pain while staying alive to pleasure. Suppression is all or nothing. So when you've been trained to suppress your grief, you've also been suppressing your joy. You've been living a half-life where nothing really touches you, where nothing really matters, where everything is at arm's distance. This is what the system wants: people too numb to actually feel their own life, too disconnected to fight for what matters. Think about something you lost, someone, a time in your life, a version of yourself, a dream, something that mattered. Did you allow yourself to grieve it? Or did you immediately try to move on? Did you feel it fully? Or did you rush to the next thing? Because the speed with which you move on is usually correlated with how successfully you've suppressed the grief. Real grief doesn't have a timeline. Real grief takes as long as it takes. And if you're suppressing it, you're not actually processing the loss. You're just storing it in your body as chronic sadness or numbness. The practical thing to do starting today: grieve something. Maybe it's recent, maybe it's old, maybe it's a loss you thought you were over, but you actually never fully felt. Let yourself cry. Let yourself sit with sadness. Let yourself acknowledge that something mattered and it's gone. Don't try to reframe it or find the silver lining. Don't try to be strong. Just feel it. Just let it move through you. This is how grief becomes integrated instead of suppressed. drop this in the comments. I honor my grief as evidence of my depth. Your grief is not weakness. Your grief is your humanity. It's your capacity to attach, to value, to find meaning. It's the thing that makes you capable of love, of loyalty, of mattering to people. The stronger you are, the deeper you can grieve. Weak people don't grieve. They don't have anything invested enough to lose. Strong people grieve deeply because they have the capacity to attach deeply. Your grief is not a flaw to overcome. It's a dimension of your power that's been criminalized. The integration of your grief means allowing yourself to feel loss without being destroyed by it. It means mourning what needs to be mourned without getting stuck there. It means understanding that life will bring loss, and that the capacity to grieve loss is the capacity to have loved deeply. And that makes you the kind of person worth being. You're here at the climax of this video, and you're starting to see what's happening. You're starting to see that the parts of you that you've been rejecting are actually the parts of you that contain your power. The anger, the ambition, the desire, the refusal, the doubt, the grief. You've been taught to be ashamed of all of it. And in shaming yourself, in rejecting yourself, you've been making yourself into someone small enough to be controlled. This is the moment. This is where you make the choice. You can close this video. You can go back to believing that your shame is justified. You can go back to apologizing for existing. You can go back to war with yourself. The system will reward you for it. You'll be safe. You'll be acceptable. You'll be compliant. Or, and this is the terrifying option, you can stop rejecting yourself. You can start integrating the parts you've been fighting. You can become someone who can't be managed through shame because you've stopped being ashamed of yourself. The old you is dead. I'm not saying you need to kill them. I'm saying they're already dead. The version of you that apologizes for existing, that shrinks to make others comfortable, that sacrifices your own needs for other people's peace, that version cannot survive what's coming. You're going to become someone who can't live that way anymore. Someone who can't unsee the systems of control. Someone who can't accept diminishment. The old you had to die for the new you to live. You are a weapon, not in the sense of destruction for its own sake, but in the sense that you are built for impact. You have capacities inside you for intensity, for vision, for refusal, for power that were designed for a purpose. And you've been pointed at your own future, your anger, your ambition, your drive. You've been using all of it against yourself. You're disarming yourself daily. You're your own saboteur. This video is asking you to redirect that weapon. Point it at the future you're building, not at yourself. The people around you are going to feel this shift. The people who have become comfortable with your accommodation are going to feel uncomfortable when you stop accommodating. The people who have been using your compliance are going to pull back in fear when you stop complying. This is not because you've become a bad person. This is because you've stopped being predictable. This is because you've stopped being a resource they can extract from endlessly. And they will want to punish you for this. This is the part where you need to be strong. You belong to no one. Not to your parents who shaped you. Not to your culture that molded you. Not to anyone who has convinced you that you owe them your compliance, your peace, your small stature. You belong to yourself. And the moment you own that, the moment you actually believe that you are sovereign over your own life, everything changes. Because you stop asking permission. You stop looking for external validation. You stop trying to make yourself digestible to people who weren't designed to digest you. Everything you're feeling right now, the discomfort, the fear, the resistance, the part of you that wants to dismiss this and go back to what's familiar. That's the system fighting back. That's your training trying to reassert itself. That's centuries of cultural conditioning trying to keep you in line. This is the crucible moment. This is where you decide. Am I going to listen to the voice that taught me to hate myself? Or am I going to listen to the voice that knows I matter and I'm worth my own life? This video ends, but your work is just beginning. Integration is not something that happens once. It's something you do daily. Every time you feel that old shame coming up, you work with it. Every time you want to apologize for existing, you pause and you don't. Every time you want to make yourself smaller, you choose to take up space instead. Every time you want to say yes when you mean no, you feel the discomfort and you say no anyway. This is the practice. This is how shadow integration actually works. And here's the thing that will surprise you. The people who actually love you, the people who see you, they're going to be relieved. They've been waiting for you to show up. They've been waiting for you to stop performing. They've been waiting for you to be real. Your authenticity is not a threat to people who actually care about you. It's a gift to them. Your power is not a burden to your real people. It's a light they've been waiting to see. The people who leave because of your integration, they were never your people. They were just trying to use your compliance. You are going to become unstoppable. Not because nothing bad will ever happen to you. Not because you'll never face rejection or failure, but because you won't be running from yourself anymore. Every ounce of energy you were spending on self-rejection, every moment you were spending at war with yourself, all of that becomes available for creation. All of that becomes available for building something real. All of that becomes available for becoming who you're actually meant to be. This is where your real power begins. Not the fake power that comes from compliance and acceptance. Not the phantom power that comes from being useful to other people. Your actual power, the power that lives in your integrated shadow, your entire nature accepted and claimed. This is what makes someone truly formidable. Not cruelty, not dominance. Integration, wholeness, alignment with your own nature. The message they don't want you to hear is this: you don't need permission. You don't need permission to be angry. You don't need permission to be ambitious. You don't need permission to want things. You don't need permission to refuse. You don't need permission to doubt or to grieve or to take up space. The only permission you need is the permission you give yourself, and you're allowed to give it right now. Today, no conditions, no prerequisites, just the radical decision: I'm going to accept myself as I am. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to start seeing the systems instead of just living inside them. If you're ready to stop accepting the narratives about yourself that were written by people who wanted to keep you small. If you're ready to integrate your shadow instead of rejecting it. But subscribe for your own reasons. Not because I'm asking, not because you think you should. Subscribe because you've recognized something in this video that's true for you. Subscribe because you're ready. That's the only subscription that matters. Share this video with someone who's ready. Someone who you can see is at war with themselves. Someone who's been rejecting their own power. Someone whose brilliance has been hidden beneath shame. Don't send it to people who aren't ready. They'll just argue with it. But find the people who are ready, and they'll know. They'll feel it. They'll recognize themselves in this. And maybe this video will be the mirror they needed. And leave a comment, not to convince me of anything, not to debate or dispute. Leave a comment because the act of speaking your truth, publicly, for the first time maybe, is part of the integration process. When you write something in the comments, you're making it real. You're stepping out of the shadow into the light. You're claiming something publicly. This is important. This is the work. Your journey with your shadow is personal, but it's not unique. Millions of people are doing this work right now. Millions of people are realizing that the systems that shaped them were designed to keep them small. Millions of people are choosing integration over rejection. You're not alone. And when you claim your shadow, you're joining a movement of people who are reclaiming their power. That's bigger than this video. That's bigger than me. That's your actual transformation. Here's the question I want you to sit with for the next week. Don't answer it quickly. Don't give me the answer you think you should give. Sit with it. Let it disturb you. Let it crack you open. Here's the question. If you were allowed to be fully, unapologetically, completely yourself, with no consequences, no judgment, no punishment, who would you actually be? What would you do? How would you move? What would you want? What would you create? Who would you become? That person, that fully expressed version of you, that's who you're meant to be. That's the work. That's everything. So sit with it.